Welcome to Latin Rite Restoration. I've got Ariel over here sanding and filling, and you guys might have noticed, or you might notice behind me, that some of this stuff actually got done without you. So we've got all these pieces that were revised. Oh, these should look familiar. Those are all of our nice router work. And then I'm going to show you guys how I found the center on these. I think you'll find that very interesting. And of course, you guys were there for these to be revised. So this is what it's looking like now as a composition. It's really starting to come together. So I'm sorry I left you guys out of that one. We were really hammering down yesterday and had some equipment issues with the recording. But anyhow, but as you can see, this one doesn't have any of those features on it. And I kind of cut my teeth on this one to make sure I knew what I was doing before I showed you how I did it. It worked out perfectly, famously, as a matter of fact. So we're going to be doing that on this piece very shortly. Finding the centers of things like this to go ahead and, drill the holes, like in the center, isn't too hard. Now on round stock like this, it can be tough. A lot of times, most of the time on these turnings, these turned pieces, you'll have at least one end which has a center punch in it because it had a tailstock supporting it as it was being rotated and it was being cut. But a lot of these things, a lot of times, are cut ganged together, or they actually have a block of wood on this side that's actually engaged on the motor and the tailstock is in this side. So you're left with some sides that have no center mark. So if you want to drill a center hole so this thing can have a dowel in it and get doweled center to center, what do? Well, I measure this right here and I go to the center and then I cheat. Okay, I make this little piece right here. So all I do is I'm going to slip this in there just like this right here, and then I center drill it right there. Okay? And I use the regular bit, nothing fancy. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up against like that and then just get it started. I don't want to drill all the way down through. I just want to get it started because I don't want to wallow this hole out because I got to drill 8 of them. I've already drilled 4. So you be very careful because if you screw it up, you're in big trouble because it's hard to get it centered again. So you can see I already got the divot started and now I just need to drill it out. There you go, nice and centered. And now the dowel will fit in here and then we'll fit together just like that. I got these glued on and now I'm going to install these columns with the bases. Now, I already did a full layout on this and mocked the entire thing up, and I've pre-drilled my holes, so I kind of spared you from having to deal with that. But this is as simple as this. It's just going to go right into place, and then glue and tap it in, and then I'm going to be adding screws to the back of this plinth from the bottom. So I like to add a lot of glue to the dowel. When it pushes in, it's going to kind of smush out, which is fine. I don't mind it getting around this top part here. We want to make sure that's nice and seated. Then I'm going to come down here, just put a little bit on this dowel, just like that. And then we want to glue this up real nice right here. We don't want a thick bunch of glue on there because then it's going to want to float on there when I'm trying to secure it down and make life difficult for me. So I got a really nice fit on this. So I just bump it into place so I'm nice. I'm going to check my fit nice and tight here. Looking nice and tight here. Got my reference marks right here for my alignment. Everything's looking nice and square. Little last minute look there. I'm going to go ahead and kind of clamp it in place. Sometimes clamping it in place, especially when I'm offsetting clamping it like this, can kind of make it shift just like it just happened. because I can't get a straight clamp on it. So sometimes I'm just going to have to put a little pressure on it with my hand and then get the screw to start in there. We'll see. Okay. All right, so we're nice and got alignment. The tight bond is already starting to light off, believe it or not. Stuff is incredible. Now, even after I tighten it, even if after I put the screw in, I actually can come back in and actually bump it a little bit later in just a minute here. All right. All right. There we go. That's number one.